If you're as much of an internet goblin as I am, then you would have by now come across the lamp story, the lamp theory, the lamp story on Reddit. I watched a video about this story and I had a panic attack and a genuine, Cartesian existential crisis. It was horrible. Here's what happened. If you don't know the lamp story, the crux of it is something like this. There's a young man who plays American football in college. He falls in love with this woman. They go on to have this amazing life. They have 2 kids. He's very happy and contented. They have decades together, etc., etc. Perfect, married, happy life. One day, he goes to sit down on a sofa and he stares at a lamp and notices that there's something unusual about it. The lamp starts to blur. Then, all of a sudden, he wakes up and everything, his entire life, had been a dream, a hallucination. He received a horrible tackle, he hit his head and hallucinated his sort of dream life. Now, sketchy, I'm not doing it justice. Read the story, the lamp story. It's horrifying. It terrified me. So I watched this video and I started to panic. There was a lamp to the left of me in my living room and I started to panic. What if I look at it? What if that story was here to tell me that my life is an illusion? What if this is a crumb of truth in an illusory world I've created for myself? So I started to panic. I looked at the lamp and the lamp was fine, but I started to spin away and spiral. Now this has happened to me before. The last time I smoked weed, and the reason I stopped was because I started to really sort of trip out and I started to really disassociate and panic and have anxiety attacks. And I had the worst panic attack of my life yesterday. I couldn't concentrate on anything. I couldn't rest my eyes on something without them slipping off of the surface. And my thoughts were, I couldn't get my hands on them. They were just like rain. I couldn't get a good grip on my own thoughts. I was spiraling and spinning. My heart was racing. I started to sweat. I was terrified. I thought I was going to die. It was awful. So my sister was visiting with my nephew and then she said, well, we're going to make a move and go home. And I was like, wait. Wait, if you wouldn't mind hanging on a couple of minutes, Kaylee, I'm having something of a panic attack. And so I went upstairs to the bathroom, and the way this resolved itself is actually really funny. But first, I had to navigate a labyrinth of fear and panic. So I grabbed the iPad and I called my fiance, and as I'm talking to her and explaining to her what's happening, trying to calm down, she starts to go blurry because her signal is going on the iPad. So she, as I'm telling her that about the blurry lamp and about how he snaps out of reality and I'm panicking that my life might be this fantasy, this dream, she starts to go blurry because the signal's bad. And I've made it a million times worse. So I'm really scared. I'm really panicking. And she's trying to console me and then so I was like, babe, I've got to go. I've got an idea. So I stripped naked. I ran a cold bath, just cold water, because that tends to snap me out if these things start to happen to me. So I'm in the throes of this panic attack, and I look to my left, and there's a mirror, and I see my nude form for the first time in a long time. and I start to feel instantly better, because if this was an illusion, I would not look like that. And I thought, well, okay, maybe it's not so bad. And then I started to feel better. I started to slowly come out of it. I got in a cold bath just so I could feel something and pull myself away from my own thoughts. And I came out of it eventually. I went to work for a few hours, came home, and I hadn't properly snapped out of it entirely. Because I said to my fiance when I got home from work, yesterday was one of the best days of my life, and it was so simple. I spent the day playing Pokemon on the Switch with my son, who's 3 years old and nearly 4, and he's passionate about Pokemon. He's asking me about Pokemon. He wants to play it on the Switch with me, and he's good at it. And when he went to bed, me and Misha got under a blanket and we started watching Friends, my favorite TV show. And I'm so happy and in love, and everything's going my way. I love my job. The podcast is going well. And a little too well. I started to panic that what if I'd been in an accident during my reckless youth and everything around me is an illusion, or I'm in a coma and I've built the perfect life for myself. My own happiness started to, drive me insane. It was I know it sounds crazy, and I'm feeling much better today. Although I do start to disassociate a little bit if I think about it too much. So when I said that to Misha, but when Misha was saying, babe, but yeah, I would know, you're not an illusion. I'm real. I love you. Everything's okay. And I said, but that's what you would say if you were living in my dream world. And she was, and then she started to panic. She went, oh, Christ, don't say that. You're starting to worry me. And I was going, well, don't you worry. I need you to be a stalwart here because I'm starting to spiral. the other thing is when I was considering who to ring because I was having a panic attack, I realised I've got so many deep, profound, beautiful friendships. I could have called any number of people and they would have been my comfort blanket. But, I tried to call my best friend Roxy and Misha. And so I just feel like, suddenly feeling like the luckiest man in the world and being so happy and contented with my simple lot in life led me to have a sort of panic attack thanks to this harrowing Reddit story. Now, I hope all that made sense. If you enjoyed this episode... So that's the story of my panic attack. That's all I wanted to share today. I hope you're all okay. As always, go to Graham's Windows and Doors, www.grahamswindowsanddoors.co.uk. They're the sponsors of this episode. James and Sherelle, thank you so much. They are Yeovil's finest purveyor of windows, doors, and conservatories. That's grahamswindowsanddoors.co.uk. Click follow, subscribe, leave us a 5-star review. These things really, really help. There's a full episode coming over the next few days with George, Lissy, and Kev. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment if you have any thoughts on this or if you think I need to speak to a doctor or a counsellor. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it, and I'll speak to you soon.